After months of campaigning, it's decision day in Iowa as the nation takes its first step in the road to Election Day 2024. Live from the EP Official Election Center, my name is Ryan Guest, and I want to welcome our viewers from the United States and around the world. Over the next several hours, one of these 10 Republican candidates could take a step closer toward the White House, while others may be forced to drop out of the race after Iowans have their say. Former President Donald Trump has paced the field in polling ever since he launched his campaign more than 2 years ago. Trump is followed most closely by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, while South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, former Vice President Mike Pence, and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley trail a ways behind. We have heard from Republican sources familiar with turnout across the state, saying that they are on pace for a record-breaking night. EP Caucus cameras will take you inside several of the more than 1,700 caucus sites tonight, where voters are gathering right now. Take a look as crowds are already forming inside schools, churches, public libraries, and even individuals' houses. It's been a bitter primary fight between the primary candidates in a deeply divided Republican Party, and we're hearing reports of such divisions translating to caucus goers themselves, with words used to describe sites and locations as tense, confrontational, and rowdy. After more than 2 years, 15 noteworthy candidates, 6 debates, hundreds of town halls, and billions of dollars raised and spent, election history is about to be made in Iowa once again, as the first in the nation state takes America's first step in the road to the White House. We'll be back with the first results from the long-awaited 2024 Republican Iowa caucuses right after the break.
Get every last person you know, get them to the voting booth in record numbers. Vote, vote, vote. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation. And together with the incredible people of Iowa,
that I choose between him and the Constitution. Now voters will be faced with the same choice. I chose the Constitution, and I always will.
And today, I'm living proof that America is the land of opportunity and not a land of oppression.
No excuses. I will get the job done. We have a lot of work to do to ensure our country gets back on track. I ask you to join me on this mission.
We're ready to move past the stale ideas and faded names of the past. And we are more than ready for a new generation to lead us into the future.
The first votes of the 2024 presidential election cycle are in. Take a look at this. With an estimated 23% of the vote in out of Iowa, former President Donald Trump holds a significant early lead, 49.1%. He's followed by Governor Ron DeSantis at 25%. Senator Tim Scott holds 6.3%, former Vice President Mike Pence 6%, and former South Carolina Governor and UN Ambassador Nikki Haley 5.2%. 46,708 votes are reporting from across the state right now. All of Iowa's 40 delegates are awarded proportionally, in accordance with the results of this caucus, and there is no minimum threshold required to receive delegates. As things stand right now, businessmen Vivek Ramaswamy and Doug Burgum, along with former New Jersey governor and 2016 presidential candidate Chris Christie, would all receive delegates. We've got another key race alert out of Iowa's caucuses now. 65% of the vote is in, and the former president maintains his commanding lead. He holds 47.8% of the support of caucus goers right now. DeSantis trails with 24.9%. Senator Scott has distinguished himself comfortably in third place now with 8.3%. He was polling best in Iowa out of the early states, ahead of his fellow South Carolinian Nikki Haley, whose 6.7% has her in fourth place right now. The former Vice President, Pence, sits in a disappointing fifth place for his campaign as of now. He is at 5.4%. We now have 132,000 votes reporting, a record of 186,000 Iowans voted in the Republican caucus of 2016, but it appears we are on pace to break that total here in 2024. Another update out of Iowa. It appears we are inching closer and closer to being able to make a call in this race, as with 80% of the estimated vote in, Donald Trump continues to lead the field with 47.3% of the vote. That has decreased since the night began, but his lead over Governor DeSantis remains strong. It's a 23-point margin right now. Mike Pence has overtaken Nikki Haley, meanwhile, for fourth place, though I'm not sure that will mean much to the former vice president, as his campaign was tailored to the kind of socially conservative voters that make up such a disproportionately large share of the Iowan electorate, and his primary prospects hinged on a better showing here. EP official projects that Donald Trump has won the Republican Iowa caucuses. The former president is looking to become just the second man to serve a non-consecutive term in the White House. And this victory is a critical step on his path to a rematch with the Democratic president, Joe Biden. With almost all of the votes in, here are the unofficial final results. Trump wins with 47% of the vote, followed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis at 24.1%. Senator Tim Scott comes in third at 9.3%. Former Vice President Mike Pence is fourth with 6.2%. And former Governor and UN Ambassador Nikki Haley rounds out the top five with 5.7%. Over 200,000 Iowans came out to participate in these caucuses here on a chilly January night, a mind-blowing number that reflects the incredible amount of attention these candidates and this primary has drawn. That attention will of course now be directed toward the primary in New Hampshire, a week from tomorrow, Tuesday. Vivek Ramaswamy has come in sixth place with 2.9%. He has polled the worst in Iowa out of the major early states. Former Governor Chris Christie, Governor Doug Burgum, and former Governor Asa Hutchinson come in 7th, 8th, and 9th places, respectively. EP official can also now display the estimated delegate totals we project that each candidate will walk away with from this contest. 40 delegates will be allocated proportionately based on their statewide vote. As such, we project that Donald Trump will receive 19 delegates. His main competition, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, picks up an estimated 10 delegates. He's followed by South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, who, as best of the rest, so to speak, received 4 delegates. While the two candidates he was polling neck and neck with here over the last several weeks, Mike Pence, and Nikki Haley will get 3 delegates each. Ramaswamy, Christie, and Burgum also receive delegates. Whether they remain in the race until New Hampshire remains to be seen, but they will walk away from Iowa with a delegate each. Taking a look at the county data now, Trump won 87 of Iowa's 99 counties. The other 12 were won by DeSantis, primarily in Iowa's urban areas. As expected, Republican voters with a high degree of educational attainment in these areas back DeSantis at a higher rate than non-college educated white voters in the more rural and suburban areas of the state. Commentators and Iowa election experts have long noted the decisive role of evangelical Christian caucus goers in past contests here. Victory of social conservatives Mike Huckabee, Rick Santorum, and Ted Cruz in the 2008, 2012, and 2016 Iowa caucuses was credited to their strong support among evangelical voters. It was noted by the Des Moines Register in 2016 that almost half of likely Republican caucus goers self-identify as evangelical or born-again Christians. As a result, of course, the big question coming into tonight was which candidate would perform the strongest among these traditionally conservative voters. Former Vice President Mike Pence, whose primary draw as Trump's running mate was his support among evangelicals, only managed to win roughly 6% of support, which may have been due to the emergence of Senator Tim Scott and his campaign's significant effort and focus on courting religious voters, as well as Donald Trump's continued strength within this demographic that he has carried over from his presidency. A major shift we noticed in 2024 primary polling, as opposed to 2016, was the former president's newfound strength among Republicans who self-identify as very conservative, a block of the electorate he struggled with 8 years ago. EP official can now report that former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson and Miami Mayor Francis Suarez have suspended their campaigns for president following their 9th and 10th place finishes in the Iowa caucuses, respectively. As such, the field has now been narrowed down to 8 candidates, as you can take a look again at the delegate totals to date. 1,234 delegates are needed to secure the Republican nomination, and there is, of course, a long way to go. Keep in mind that despite its strategic importance, between 1976 and 2016, only 3 out of 8 winners of the Iowa caucuses went on to receive the Republican presidential nomination. Stay tuned, as EP official will return with coverage of the New Hampshire primary. Until then, I thoroughly hope you enjoyed this Iowa caucus prediction. Let me know what other 2024 primary-related videos you would like to see in the future. I would really appreciate it if you could like the video down below if you did, and subscribe while you're at it. Feel free to leave any comments, whether you agree or disagree. I read them all and appreciate them. You can check out more content from my channel here, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. EP out.